Shalom, brothers and sisters in Yahweh, and Bibleaholics everywhere. Welcome. Tonight is our midweek Bible study, and tonight we'll be going over Shemoth, which is Exodus, chapters 25, 26, and 27. So go ahead and grab your Bibles, so that way you can read along with me and see these commandments with your eyes and not just your ears. This Bible study tonight is a history lesson, okay? Because tonight we're going over how to build the tent of appointment. Okay? So, you ready, gang? On your marks, get set, and let's go. Alright. Chapter 25 in Shemoth, which is Exodus. Okay, so tonight we have to remember that the temple is no longer. It was burnt down by the Romans back in 70 AD. Okay, and there hasn't been a temple since. But after Yehoshua was hung on the stake and died for us, shed his blood as the perfect sacrifice to bring all of us into the tree of life, us being the Gentiles. Bring us into the tree of life and renew the old covenant with all of us, including the children of Israel. Okay? Which everybody nowadays calls the Jews, which is only one tribe of 12. And we have no idea if they're Jews or what tribe they're from because of the different times that Jerusalem was burned and the northern tribes were chased out by Assyria and all the things that have happened over the years. We have no idea what are the real bloodlines anymore. So we're just going to take it for granted that we are dealing with the Jews. But tonight, we're dealing with Moses, okay? And Moshe is getting his orders from Yahweh, straight up on the mountain of Sinai. And he is getting orders according to all the dimensions of the tent of appointment, okay? We now are the temple. Because of the atoning sacrifice of Yehoshua, he was the ultimate sacrifice. There is no longer any more sacrifices going on because there is no temple. Okay? So we are the temple. And he was our perfect sacrifice. Now, as the temple, we are supposed to take care of our temple. As you can see, I was not a very good steward in my younger years of taking good care of my temple. It's got graffiti all over it. Yeah, well, you know, we do stupid things in our youth and can't really go back, can you? So we go forward. And tonight we're going forward. So, let's study the temple. Chapter 25. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they take up a contribution for me, for Yahweh. For everyone whose heart moves him, you shall take up my contribution. And this is the contribution which you take up from them, gold, and silver, and bronze, and blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and fine leather, and acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense, shoham stones, and stones to be set in the shoulder garments and in the breastplate, and they shall make me a set apart place. Okay, so we're building a holy place for Yahweh. And I shall dwell there in their midst, according to all that I show you, the pattern of the dwelling place, and the pattern of all its furnishings, make it exactly so. And they shall make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, a cubit and a half wide, and a cubit and a half high. Okay, let's remember what a cubit is. A cubit is 18 inches from, let's see here, right here in the crook of your arm to the end of your fingertips. Okay, that's 18 inches approximately is a cubit. Okay, just so we know what a cubit is. And you shall overlay it with clean gold. Inside and out you shall overlay it, and you shall make it a molding of gold all around. And you shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in its 4 corners, 2 rings on one side and 2 rings on the other side, so that way they can use the poles to slide through the rings and pick it up and carry it. Okay? Verse 13, and you shall make poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, and shall put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark, to lift up the ark by them. The poles are in the rings of the ark. They are not taken from it, so the poles stay there. They don't get pulled out, they just stay there. Verse 16, and into the ark you shall put the witness which I give you, the 10 commandments. Okay? Verse 17, and you shall make a lid of atonement of clean gold, 2.5 cubits long, and a cubit and a half wide. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold, make them of beaten work, and the 2 ends of the lid of atonement. And make 1 cherub at one end, and the other cherub at the other end. Make the cherubim from the lid of atonement at its 2 ends. And the cherubim shall be spreading out their wings above, covering the lid of atonement with their wings, with their faces toward each other, the faces of the cherubim turned toward the lid of atonement. And you shall put the lid of atonement on top of the ark, and put into the ark the witness which I give you, the 10 commandments. And I shall meet with you there, and from above the lid of atonement, from between the 2 cherubim which are on the ark of the witness, I shall speak to you all that which I command you concerning the children of Israel. And you shall make a table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, a cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. And you shall overlay it with clean gold, and you shall make a molding of gold all around, and shall make it for a rim of a handbreadth all around, and shall make a gold molding for the rim all around. And you shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings on the 4 corners that are at its 4 legs. The rings are close to the rim, as holders for the poles to lift the table. And you shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, and the table shall be lifted with them. And you shall make its dishes, and its ladles, and its jars, and its bowls for pouring. Make them of clean gold. And you shall put the shewbread on the table before me continually. And you shall make a lampstand of clean gold. The lampstand is made of beaten work, its base and its shaft, its cups, its ornamental knobs and blossoms are from it. And 6 branches shall come out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand of the one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand on the other side. Okay, so that's what it's kind of going to look like. My fingers are terrible. They've been broken so many times, can't even hardly straighten them anymore. Okay, verse 33, 3 cups made like almond flowers on one branch, with ornamental knob and blossom, and 3 cups made like almond flowers on the other branch, with ornamental knob and blossom. So for the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. And on the lampstand itself are 4 cups, made like almond flowers, with ornamental knob and blossom. And a knob under the first 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. Their knobs and their branches are of the same, all of it one beaten work of clean gold. So it's not pieced together, it's all one beaten piece. Man, that would take some time to make that, huh? Imagine ting 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 beating the gold out. Oof. And you shall make 7 lamps for it, and they shall mount its lamps so that they give light from it. And its snuffers and their trays are of clean gold. It is made of a talent of clean gold with all these utensils. So see, and do according to the pattern which was shown to you on the mountain. Alright, I understand that there's a lot there and it's kind of hard to understand, but if you've ever built furniture or if you've ever done any kind of craftsmanship, it makes sense how they're doing all of this. So people that have built houses and people that have built furniture, and as you'll see, anybody who's a seamstress that has woven fabric or stitched fabric or anything like that, done any kind of tanning work, any kind of work of a craftsmanship, you're going to understand this a lot more than somebody who's never worked with their hands like this. And some of this work is really, really intense work, because when they start putting together the floors and the walls and stuff like that, they're not just using a screw gun. Zzz, zzz, they're not doing that. They're doing tongue and groove and all kinds of stuff by hand, pinning everything together with dowels. So there's a lot to this, and if you're a craftsman, you're going to understand a lot of what they're doing here, and it's going to make a lot of sense to you. All right, chapter 26. Excuse me. And make the dwelling place with 10 curtains of fine woven linen, and blue and purple and scarlet material. Make them with cherubim, the work of skilled workmen. Okay? Yahweh is really giving them intense blueprints on how to do all this, because this is, part of it is a test to see if the children of Israel will do as he commands precisely. So a lot of this, he's testing them to see if they'll actually do it. Verse 2, the length of each curtain is 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits, all the curtains having one measure. 5 curtains are joined to each other, and 5 curtains are joined to each other. And you shall make loops of blue on the edge of the end curtain on one set, and do the same on the edge of the end curtain of the second set. Make 50 loops in the one curtain, and make 50 loops on the edge of the end curtain of the second set, the loops being opposite to each other, so that way they piece together and you can weave down through them to hold the curtains together. Okay? And you shall make 50 loops of gold, and shall join the curtains together with the hooks, and the dwelling place shall be one. And you shall make curtains of goat's hair. For a tent over the dwelling place, make 11 curtains. The length of each curtain is 30 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits, one measure to the 11 curtains. And you shall join the 5 curtains by themselves, and the 6 curtains by themselves, and you shall double over the 6 curtains at the front of the tent. And you shall make 50 loops on the edge of the curtain that is outermost in one set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain of the second set. And you shall make 50 bronze hooks, and put the hooks into the loops, and join the tent together, and it shall be one. And the overlapping part of the rest of the curtain of the tent, the half curtain that remains, shall hang over the back of the dwelling place, and a cubit on one side and a cubit on the other side of what remains of the length of the curtains of the tent is to hang over the sides of the dwelling place on this side and on that side to cover it. as you make a covering of ram skins dyed red for the tent, and a covering of fine leather above that. And for the dwelling place you shall make the boards of acacia wood, standing up. 10 cubits is the length of a board, and a cubit and a half the width of each board. 2 tenons in each board for binding one together. Do the same for all the boards of the dwelling place. So tenons, you got a piece of dowel that sticks up, and then the board goes over it like this, so that they fit together like a puzzle. And you shall make boards for the dwelling place, 20 boards for the south side, and make 4 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under each of the boards for its 2 tenons. And for the second side of the dwelling place on the north side, 20 boards, and there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under each of the boards. And for the extreme parts of the dwelling place, westward, make 6 boards. And make 2 boards for the 2 back corners of the dwelling place. And they are double beneath, and similarly they are complete to the top, to the 1 ring. So it is for both of them, they are for the 2 corners. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under the 1 board, and 2 sockets under the other board. And you shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the boards on the one side of the dwelling place, and the 5 bars for the boards on the other side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards on the side of the dwelling place, for the extreme parts westward, with the middle bar in the midst of the boards, going through from end to end. And overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold as holders for the bars, and overlay the bars with gold. Okay? Verse 30, and you shall raise up the dwelling place according to its pattern, which you were shown on the mountain. Okay, this is like a craftsman's dream, this thing. They have got only the finest craftsmen. But you got to figure that these guys are used to making stuff, because Pharaoh had them building the city of Rames. So they were moving gigantic bricks to make the pyramids and all kinds of stuff that they were building in the city of Rames at the time of the slavery that was going on. Okay, the captivity. So they're skilled craftsmen. These guys know what they're doing. Verse 31. And you shall make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet material and fine woven linen, the work of skilled workmen made with cherubim. And you shall put it on the 4 columns of acacia wood, overlaid with gold, their hooks of gold, upon 4 sockets of silver. And you shall hang the veil from the hooks, and shall bring the ark of the witness there behind the veil. And the veil shall make a separation for you between the set apart and the most set apart place. So he's ordering them, once you get the Ark of the Covenant, and you put the 10 Commandments inside of it, and you put the top on it, then you take and you put it back here in this room that I'm telling you about, which is called the most set apart place. And then you put a curtain in front of it, because ain't nobody supposed to go back in there except for the high priest once a year. Okay? Nobody else is supposed to go back in there. Verse 34, and you shall put the lid of atonement upon the ark of the witness in the most set apart place. And you shall set the table outside the veil, and the lampstand opposite the table on the side of the dwelling place toward the south, and put the table on the north side. And you shall make a covering for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen made by a weaver. And you shall make for the covering 5 columns of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold, their hooks of gold, and you shall cast 5 sockets of bronze for them. Okay, now we got to understand that this thing has got to be able to be put up and taken down. So all of this stuff is put together kind of like Legos, so that you can take it apart and put it back together and move it around and grab the poles and let's go. Pack it up and let's go. And then when they get to where they're going the next time, then they set it all back up. So this has got to be pretty ready to go whenever Yahweh says, hey, let's go. Okay, chapter 27. And you shall make a slaughter place of acacia wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The slaughter place is square, and its height 3 cubits. And you shall make its horns on its 4 corners. Its horns are the same, and you shall overlay it with bronze. And you shall make its pots to receive its ashes, and its shovels, and its basins, and its forks, and its fire holders. Make all its utensils of bronze. And you shall make a grating for it, a bronze network, and shall make on the network 4 bronze rings at its 4 corners. And shall put it under the rim of the slaughter place beneath, so that the network is halfway up the slaughter place. And you shall make poles for the slaughter place, poles of acacia wood, and shall overlay them with bronze. And the poles shall be put in its rings, and the poles shall be on the 2 sides of the slaughter place for lifting it. Make it hollow with boards, as it was shown to you on the mountain. So they are to make it. And you shall make the courtyard of the dwelling place for the south side screens for the courtyard made of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long for one side. And its 20 columns and their 20 sockets of bronze, and the hooks of the columns and their bands of silver. And so for the north side in length, screens 100 cubits long, with its 20 columns and their 20 sockets of bronze, and the hooks of the columns and their bands of silver. And the width of the courtyard on the west side screens of 50 cubits, with their 10 columns and their 10 sockets. And the width of the courtyard on the east side 50 cubits. And the screens on the one side of the gate 15 cubits, with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets. And on the other side screens of 15 cubits, with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets. And for the gate of the courtyard a covering 20 cubits long, of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen, made by a weaver, 4 columns and 4 sockets. All the columns around the courtyard have bands of silver, their hooks silver, and their sockets bronze. The length of the courtyard is 100 cubits, and the width 50 by 50, and the height 5 cubits, woven of fine linen thread, and its sockets of bronze. All the utensils of the dwelling place, for all its service, all its pegs, and all the pegs of the courtyard are bronze. And you are to command the children of Israel to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, to cause the lamp to burn continually. Okay? In the tent of appointment outside the veil, which is before the witness, Aaron and his sons are to tend it from evening until morning before Yahweh, a law forever to their generations, for the children of Israel. Okay, now you got to remember that Aaron and his crew, actually Moshe and his brother Aaron, and their kids, are all Levites. They're all from the tribe of Levi. Okay? The bloodline is pure. They've never mixed blood with any of the other tribes or any of the pagans or anybody. There's a pure bloodline of Levites. The Levites are the priests. Okay? So keep that in mind. Okay, and we'll go ahead and we'll end there for the night of our study. I know, it's kind of dry. There's not much action there unless if you're a construction worker or builder of houses or builder of a lot of things, or you weave or you sew or anything like that. It probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you. And there's some math to do if you want to figure out the dimensions, because like I said, 18 inches is a cubit. So there you're going to have to multiply it all out and figure out your dimensions from there. All right. I'm going to leave a little nugget tonight in the description to go along with this video that's going to explain a lot of things about what has happened with the Feast of Trumpets this year and how the Jews, because we don't know the bloodlines if they're pure or not, but what they're calling the Jews that are in Israel had their little feast today, where they had the Feast of Trumpets, where they publicly got out there and everybody blew the shofar and they made a big spectacle of it. Understand something. They are not Levitical priests. If they're even from the tribe of Judah, they are not Levitical priests. They are not ordained to do such a thing. So all of these things that they have been doing lately, like burning the red heifer and all of this other stuff that they've been doing, the Jews are not qualified or ordained to do those things. Only Levitic priests. And the video that I'm going to put in the description of this video will explain all of that to you. If you're seeking knowledge, this video will explain everything to you in detail. It's very, very good video. Okay? Alright. I hope y'all got a lot out of this tonight, and I hope you're interested in it. I know it's really dry, but there's a lot of information there, and it's a good history lesson. We no longer have to worry about the tent of appointment, because there is no temple. The temple was burned by the Romans in 70 AD to the ground. As Yehoshua said, to the last block, not one brick standing. They burned it to the ground. And ever since then, there has not been a temple. Okay, they think that where they're banging their heads against the wall there, the western wall, as part of the temple. But if you know anything about the Bible, you can research yourself to where the real temple is. It's in the city of David, in Shiloh. Okay? It's not in Jerusalem. It's in the city of David, in Shiloh. Okay? And if you research that enough and follow the breadcrumbs, you'll figure out that they have actually found remnants of the temple, of the second temple, of Herod's temple. They found remnants of it underground. They have found where the olive presses are. They found where they kept the animals. And they found the spring that ran under the temple that they used to, the priests would clean themselves, and they would clean all the blood off of themselves from making the sacrifices and everything else. The spring is still flowing. Okay? It takes a little bit of searching to find all of that, but it's real. And it's not where everybody's banging their head against that wall. That is a Roman structure. And the Romans didn't destroy it in 70 AD because they built it. Alright? It was where all of their troops stayed. It was like a house for all their troops. So, do the research yourself. Don't believe me. Don't take my word for it. These are just things that I've found over the years that explain a lot of stuff. Okay? Do your own research. Anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed the study. I hope that you learned something and you got a pretty good picture in your mind about how big this is. This tent of appointments, big. It's not just a little pup tent. It's big. Do the math. It's pretty good sized. So, anyway, that's all I got for you. I will see y'all on Shabbat. Y'all have a good night, and Shalom.